Welcome everyone to the very first Nintendo Direct of 2024. But it's not your typical Nintendo Direct. This will be a partner showcase. Which means...
I think there was already one in the past.
This year... No, not that I recall.
Well, labeled as partner showcase for Nintendo Direct, yeah.
Of 2024 from our publishing and development partners. Okay, let's get into some headlines.
Alright, well, let's get started. What's first up?
Strive to survive.
There it is. Oh, look, the game that we all knew was coming because it got leaked.
I'm going to be honest, I thought it was already on Switch.
Just for that sentence, Pedro, you're actually grounded.
Ha!
I'm terrible, I know.
Now people
So yeah, this
can-
is one of the former Microsoft exclusives that's actually coming out on Nintendo on another console.
The big question is, will it still have the arachnophobia filter?
Gather resources.
I assume it would. I don't see any reason
I mean,
not
it's
to.
still published by Xbox Game Studios.
Much like the others included, which some of these are not present in this one, if I remember correctly. Much like the others, it's still labeled in terms of publishing by them. It's not just, it's just the fact that it's pulled on another console.
You have what it takes to make it big in this minuscule world and fend off its creepy, crawly inhabitants? Go big or never go home when Grounded launches on the Nintendo Switch system April 16th. A tale of destruction and renewal unfolds in this return to the Ender Lilies world. This once flourishing country.
Anyway, we go from quite the mood whiplash. We go from happy game about shrunk. We can basically go from Honey I Shrunk the Kids to everything's fucking destroyed.
Okay, I have heard about the first game in this and the release, but I never went too much deep into it, so I don't know actually how much what the gameplay is about.
I've talked about this with Crow from the Disciples channel. He tells me that this is part of the Ender Lily series. It's kind of a Dark Souls-inspired Metroidvania where you play as a little girl who fights with souls of the dead, essentially.
So it's a bit similar to the Sorrow duology.
Or Blasphemous.
Blasphemous doesn't require you to use the souls. Specifically, reminding us of Sorrow duology because Soma Crew's entire gameplay is about that. Blasphemous is more similar to Symphony of the Night.
I do appreciate the visuals, the art direction, though. This is how this is how I like my 2D games: HD hand-drawn sprites.
It reminds me of Vanillaware stuff.
This is yet another
It
protagonist.
looks very nice.
This is yet another protagonist that looks like a younger Franziska von Karma.
It's your adventure, your way.
Your adventure,
in these
your
Nintendo
way.
Switch
I'll
games.
do it my
Lightning round.
way.
World of puzzles in this
A ranger, a
charming
role-puzzling
Slide across
adventure.
rows of columns on a
Ha.
scrolling game
Oh, it's like one of those
Everything moves
slide puzzles that Honor
Yes.
Gaming hates so
venturing out
much.
into the wilderness, helping out the
Well,
townsfolk.
more than hate, he mentioned that there is kryptonite, as in he cannot for his life, manage to solve them properly as intended.
I like
couldn't
them.
imagine-
They take me forever, but I like them.
I couldn't imagine living in.
Besides,
I couldn't imagine living in a world where you just have to slide around like that, not actually move.
We all have one of those,
Here's
each
the
of
new,
us.
here's the
Unicorn
Vanillaware
Overlord.
game.
Unicorn Overlord, yes.
Hey, Fire Emblem.
Form your strategy, then unleash your army on
It's
the
Fire
opponent's
Emblem without a grid system.
It's interesting that Vanillaware is very versatile in what they do. They had the platformers, traditional action RPGs. With Dragon's Crown, it was a traditional classic beat 'em up, probably, and now a tactical RPG.
launching on Nintendo Switch.
13 Sentinel Aegis Rim is also very different too. So interesting that they're managing to juggle between genres.
Nintendo 3DS system.
They're
Hey,
able to
Monster
go for
Hunter
that.
Stories.
To be fair, yeah, the second game was made from the get-go for Switch and PC. I forgot if it was at the same time or later on. So
This one was originally a free. Yeah.
porting this one from the 3DS is probably for the better.
Plus, they've given it English voices, or voices at all.
Yeah, correct, it wasn't even voice acted, the original. Again, I haven't tried it, but
I guess it must have sold well enough to facilitate them giving it voice acting. Hello!
Oh, look, Pedro, your favorite.
Brought you from the creator of Deus Ex, believe it or not.
Wait, is it still Junction Point doing this?
No, but the War Inspector is supervising.
Oh, okay.
That's right. It's a
Okay,
full-on remake.
Okay, let me explain this. I understand that there's quite a lot of people that like Epic Mickey, the first one specifically, despite it having mixed critical. But I personally think the game really misses on a lot of its potential and a lot of aspects.
Wow, they're even giving new remade cutscenes for it too. Sorry, just
apparently, yeah. I mean, wait, did they get rid of the 2D animated scenes from the original? Because that was one of the best things, though.
We'll
I hope they didn't get rid of that.
We'll have to see.
Because one of the best things about the Epic Mickey games was the hand-drawn animated cutscenes.
I'm just going off. I'm just going off of what we're seeing with the 3D cutscenes. There's nothing to suggest that they're replacing the 2D cutscenes. Still, Epic Mickey rebrushed.
Let me put it simply. If you want to know what my thoughts on Epic Mickey are, check out Liam Triforce's video on the series. His opinions are mirror mine perfectly. So there you go.
Yeah, this was actually
Shin Megami Tensei V story.
Yeah.
By thanks Korea once again to the rescue.
But we also have good reasons to believe that after they add this DLC into it, they'll release a complete edition on both PS4 and Steam.
Oh no, it's already confirmed. This is basically
already? Okay.
this is basically the complete edition. That's also going to be on PS4, PS5, and PC.
And yes, all newcomers. For those wondering, the protagonist is a guy, despite the feminine appearance.
Hey, let him be fabulous.
Not just that. In general, traditional SMT protagonists tend to be very androgynous in terms of appearance. This is nothing new.
And that's the thing, though. They actually go out to confirm that it is a dude. It's almost like they intentionally want you to misguess. Again, though, like Shuri said, let him be fabulous.
Besides, there are more important things at the end, like killing God, you know.
Yes.
Imagine a person.
June 21.
Again, I'm not gonna deny this. I'll take whatever I can get.
Or return to this ravaged wasteland and experience an untold story on your adventure. Let's take a look at some more headlines.
All right. Let's see what you got.
Get ready to unite and fight in these Nintendo Switch games.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Hey, Battlefront!
Star Wars Battlefront.
The definitive
Classic collection.
Yeah, Aspire, I forgot what it's pronounced in this case. They've been doing a decent enough job porting the old Star Wars game, so I'm actually very impressed in the effort that they're doing.
I did like what they did with the recent Tomb Raider collection as well.
One thing I wish they would do is they would put their remaster of Indigo Prophecy on consoles as well instead of just PC.
For the record, well, it depends on the publisher, I suppose. In that case, it was variable things. In this one, they just replaced...
Well, actually, too, Atari had nothing to do with the remaster because Atari has since lost the rights to that.
Okay.
Yeah, on the subject of that last one, I do have Battlefront 1 and 2 on my Xbox. But I can imagine that. But this new one does have, additional modes, so it might be worth picking up.
The current Steam versions of Battlefront 1 and 2, if I recall correctly, were broken because of an update that was released at some point. So I get these versions are supposed to also fix that because yes, these porting are also multiplat.
Anyway, yeah, new South Park game.
Yeah. But from what I gather, Trey and Matt are not writing this one, so I'm not particularly interested. Because
they're in it.
Well, yeah, obviously. But South Park games that are not directly handled by them usually are not very good.
I think you talked about it before. Didn't they at least supervise a little bit of it?
Maybe, I guess, but
I guess from what
we'll have to see how when it actually ends up.
Anyway, Sword Art Online.
Yeah, let's just say Shirei. There's still a lot of PTSD from the original Nintendo 64 game and stuff like that.
Yes, Sword Art Online, widely considered to be one of anime's greatest mistakes. I digress.
Oh yes.
Again, if the game is good enough on its own,
and that concludes my thoughts on Sword Art Online.
If you want a good isekai anime, watch I'm in Love with the Villains.
Or Konosuba.
Or Digimon.
Again, on a
Oh
game
yeah,
release,
technically that is Isekai.
just play the attack.
So
Well-
Sonic X.
Okay. To be
true.
fair, it depends on which Digimon anime you're talking about, since some are isekai, others aren't.
The first one.
Adventure 01.
Adventure. Yeah.
Anyway, just to mention, because this is not, I'm not the target audience for this, but I have a couple of friends here in my country who are huge Gundam fans, and they told me that they actually look very forward to what we just saw.
Hey,
Get
Super
down to
Monkey
monkey
Ball!
business.
Ball.
Yay! Another installment for me to get angry at. Yay!
I gotta say, Sega have been doing a relatively good job keeping this series alive with not just remasters, but actual new installments.
I mean, a lot of those new installments have been crap, but
That's also the thing with Monkey Ball is actually one of those, puzzle games where it's relatively easy to construct. So it's more of a weird thing that they hadn't capitalized this much on the IP until recently. And like Sheer said, they could still
16-player
be doing better.
multiplayer.
I'm always happy for a new game, though, for this.
Let me check if they mention who's developing it.
Get ready to roll, tilt, dash, and party in one appealing adventure. When
Boo.
Appealing.
Jesus Christ.
Pre-orders begin today.
Alright.
Get ready for a
Now with more
Oh,
Goo.
World of Goo 2, we saw this announced at the Game Awards.
Goo. Wait, is this a... Oh my god, this is an advert about Goo. And considering the advertising campaigns we've had for something involving Goo, cream eggs have really gone downhill.
Also,
They've been burned.
the article about Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble doesn't really mention a specific developer, so it might be internally developed at Sega.
Yeah, someone is developing it.
Apparently.
Yes, Noah Sinister, I'm sure.
Plot twist, it was developed by an AI.
Also, on an unrelated note...
No, please.
On an unrelated note, remember to call your mother.
Including explosive goo, jelly goo, and more. Plus, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch version,
I got it.
you can build with up to 3 buds in local co-op play.
How I Met Your Mother. We were playing Super Monkey Ball together at one point.
Nintendo Switch, May 23rd.
Alright,
Yeah, World of Goo. It looks...
a life
Hey,
transcending
Fantasy
time.
Wi-Fi! Awesome. Alright, time to give us a release date.
Story, 1,000 years in the making.
Now they'll announce the sequel Fantasy Life J next.
Fantasy Life 1, The Girl Who Steals Time.
It's actually, it's meant to be an I.
Travel to the island's past to gather resources, then use them to restore the island in the present. You'll start out by assuming one of many different roles called lives. Why not become a miner to collect ore?
Oh yeah, like
Oh,
we
he
said
can't
in
be
our-
he can't be an assassin.
So like we said in our previous commentary of Level 5 Vision that we did last, it's basically an RPG, an Animal Crossing. Imagine Animal Crossing was an RPG. That's basically what Fantasy Life I is.
Funny development history, Animal Crossing was supposed to be a dungeon crawler.
Wow. Learn
must
something new every
destroy the
day.
cog.
The cock.
But without the clock, my clock won't work.
Yeah,
Like a-
digital.
Like I said, Shiro, this is basically the best Level 5 game for you, basically, because this is right up your alley.
The girl who steals time.
That's not
Available
the
October
summer.
October 10.
Well,
The perfect Halloween release.
Well, Shiro, it will be out when it's ready.
Okay, Pedro, in the past you asked me, if I knew more about Dark Souls-esque games that had more of a sense of humor. I can tell you from the previews, because they had a sort of a demo early access, this one actually does. Is actually fitting that.
Yeah, this actually looks pretty good.
Iron
Oh,
Pineapple
that's
covered
crazy.
this in one of his
Alright. I guess
videos,
I'll
so
take
there
a
is
look at
that.
then. Because my thing with let me use Lies of P for example. I mean, Lies of P is a fantastic game. Not denying that, of course, I love that game. But at the same time, it feels very much like, yes, another Bloodborne clone. It's a fantastic Bloodborne clone. Don't get me wrong, but still a clone. And I want this genre to actually do more interesting things with it rather than just copy from software. You know what I mean?
So, I know it's technically still from software, but would you say Elden Ring was at least unique enough in that degree?
The open world structure did a good job in adding more stuff to it, but it's still a From Software game at the end of the day.
I'll admit, some people have joked that you can actually compare some screenshots from Elden Ring and Dark Souls, and some people would have trouble telling the difference at times.
Anyway, this game comes out at the end of April.
Honestly, it looks nice.
Just drop drill.
Oh, you mean drill dozer?
Hey, Penny!
And Penny's break away.
What am I looking at?
It's a new game by Christian Whitehead.
Wait, you've never seen this before? I'm sure it's been showed off. Like,
No, and I. So you can finish first, Pedro.
It's from the same team that made Sonic Mania. Christian Whitehead, not Simon Fonnelly, but the same team that made Sonic Mania.
I don't know. I'm not really feeling these graphics. It looks really garish.
Dwibs. That's kind of the point. They're trying to replicate the old PlayStation N64 era 3D platform.
I thought it was more supposed to be similar to stuff like Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
It's not.
yay!
It's not really. It's not really my cup of tea.
I've seen enough VTubers rage at this shit.
I have an amount of hours in this game.
Anyway, I love how they just did It's Out Now for Penny's Big Breakaway. I already bought it on PS5. So
Yeah,
so this is what happens to all the fruits and fruit ninja that survive.
Alright, so Tio, Shura, you guys sound familiar with this game. What's the story exactly?
Stack up stuff kind of like Tetris, but it's with fruit. Similar fruit of the same kind merge together to form a big one. Try not to get killed by the stack.
And the physics that don't exist.
Pepper Grinder from Devolver Digital.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my. Drill! No, it's legit drill,
It's basically
but as a whole game.
It's the drill whispers this whole game.
I mean, people like that one.
Like I said, there was also the GBA game that Game Freak did, the Drill Dozer. That's also kind of similar to that.
Yeah, you know what? This looks nice.
Oh, speaking of Game Freak.
Why is this getting localized? This series tends to be, prominent just in
Pocket
Japan.
Card Jockey. Oh yeah, because those things are obviously known for going together. Solitaire and horse racing.
They're both
course.
gambling. But
I'm
wait.
sorry, we need to make it more appealing to the British audience. Put a fox in front.
Of course.
It's a rabbit, actually.
Actually, it varies
I was
sometimes.
I was more referencing, the thankfully now discontinued fox sounds with.
So there we are. This is another one of Game Freak's passion projects.
Alright. What do we
Hey,
have here?
Pentiment.
It is aka Peasant Simulator.
Melody
No,
of Moon
Snufkin,
Valley.
Melody of Moomin
I don't.
Valley.
That's supposed to be a licensed product, if I remember correctly. This is actually the game that Deji is looking forward to. It's about. It's actually based around African culture.
Nice.
Demon
I
Slayer.
think it was showed
Read
off
the
at
board.
the Game Awards before
so-
as well. Yeah.
So-
The
Demons-
presenter was very engaged in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come
Kingdom-
Demon
Deliverance.
Slayer party game.
You'll be surprised what they do with the licensed stuff with. Hey, Contra!
Whatever next, an Attack on Titan rhythm game.
Sure, why not?
There you go.
Pentiment.
Tomorrow.
Available tomorrow, Xbox.
It's out.
Another Xbox
Not
one.
now, tomorrow.
Actually pretty good. I really encourage you to try if you haven't.
That almost wraps up this Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. But before we go, we have 2 more announcements to
Oh,
share.
it's not just
2
one.
more.
It's 2.
Oh, wow.
They're being spicy this year.
2 more.
Dairy today, aren't we?
Nintendo's Twitch Online.
2 announcements like the Switch 2.
No.
No.
So yeah, Rareware. Yeah, that was back when they were called Rareware. We're getting some of their old Super Nintendo and stuff on the
Let's see, apparently they are... well, actually, I better gonna mention it. There you go. Snake Rattle and Roll.
From the NES.
RC Pro AM. Battletoads.
Battle Maniacs. A part of the arcade game, basically.
And Killer Instinct, the original.
The original Killer Instinct, yes.
And Blast Core.
Also, not mentioned here, but Japan also gets some other free among these. We still don't.
I already have all of these on Rare Replay, so I'm covered.
I get the idea also why they're doing this. It's mostly because of the some rare games like Banjo-Kazooie and the GoldenEye, you know, were already being released this way.
Oh, I get that too. It's just that, you know, on Rare Replay I can use Rewind and sure. So it's much better.
And the last game.
Abzu?
Nah, it can't be Abzu. I think it's something else.
It is something else. Isn't Abzu first person as well, or is it not?
Endless Ocean Luminous.
Okay, this is apparently a series that started on the Wii, but it's based entirely basically, you know, you just in the ocean chillaxing and collecting information about marine species.
Welcome.
Despite Jesus Christ, that shark. Despite, you know, the aesthetic is not Subnautica, so if I recall correctly, it's a series actually made for people who just want to relax, so, you know, with a more tranquil kind of game.
When I watched this earlier today, I thought it was Subnautica.
This is actually...
In the words of Markiplier, fuck the oceon.
I'll say, this is pretty unorthodox for a final reveal of a Nintendo Direct.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure this is a fine game, but I feel like some of the previous stuff we've seen would have made for better one more thing.
Also, most of
this is also the only first party, you know, game showcased here. Everything else was third party.
Maybe that's why it's the one more thing.
I guess.
Also, was that a
Mosasaurus?
Before that, it was Anomalokari, so, like, okay, I guess.
Also, weirdly enough, no Hi-Fi Rush announcement for Switch, even though that got leaked as well.
Well, that's because apparently, so far, the only announcement that they had is that it's coming only on PS5 for the time being.
Now, granted...
I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for the Switch too.
That is one of the main speculations I've heard. So, Endless Ocean, Luminous. Again, you know what? It may not be the most exciting Direct, but for a Direct that's meant to, well, be what it is, a partner showcase, it did its job fine.
Well, I got a release date for Fantasy Life 5, so I'm not complaining.
Hey, Penny's Breakaway is probably the highlight for me.
You can get, like, right now.
Yeah, for me, I already have it, I just bought it on PS5.
Also, hey, Battlefront, the definitive way to play Battlefront, because screw the EA new games, and, hey, even the Epic Mickey remake catches my interest.
I mean, Battlefront 2 EA is alright.
For me, it's like the big highlight is, of course, Penny's Breakaway, because I mean, anything by Christian Whitehead, I'm all in. So.
And yes, dude, Battlefront 2 is okay now, but let's not forget the road it took to get there. Ugh.
And that's it.
I'm guessing one may, you know, give a shit only for the story mode these days, Jova, which was fine, you know, even at launch. Sure, it's not the most, you know, useful information. You only get to know why Kylo Ren got to know the information at the beginning of episode 7, but that's kind of it.
Alright then, it's recap time.
Hey, Jova, what games have we seen today?
Well, let's see. We saw a Contra Operation Galaga game, which is honestly a pretty cool name, I'll admit. We saw another Crab's Treasure with giant enemy crabs, so attack their weakness for massive damage. A new South Park game in South Park Snow Day. Pepper Grinder, essentially the Drill Wisp getting its own full-fledged game. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. Again, that is something that has piqued my interest. Epic Mickey Rebrush, which I think is very interesting looking, could also be a good opportunity for them to re-implement scrapped content that couldn't be made in the original game.
I get the idea, we're not gonna do it. The trailer alone gave me the vibe of this is a one-to-one kind of thing. The only thing that they mentioned in terms of quality of life improvement are just in Mickey's moveset, and that's probably to avoid having the implementation of the motion control that the original had.
It is possible, since from what I can understand, well, okay, granted that was THQ Nordic, like, it's possible we could get some new content added in.
The developers are Purple Lamp Studios, in case you forgot. If I remember correctly, they're the guys who made the recent SpongeBob games.
Oh, that's wait, did they also work on the Battle for Bikini Bottom remake? Because that one actually did re-implement scrapped content.
I think it's them.
Okay, because that one did actually re-implement scrapped content that was not in the original, so there is a chance. Not a certainty, but it's better than nothing.
I do know that the reception for that remake is not great, though.
The Battle for Bikini Bottom?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, overall, this Direct was fine. My favorite thing was probably Penny's big breakaway, because I actually have been looking forward to that. Epic Mickey was a close second, and in third place was Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. That's not to say that other things shown weren't nice. Again, Endless Ocean Luminous, while I feel it's a very weird choice for a finale, looks like it'll be good. Same for World of Goo 2, looks dandy. Not everything in here was for me, but in the typical format of a Nintendo Direct, it felt like there was enough range that pretty much everyone, I feel, could say that they got something for the most part. That said, Pocket Card Jockey, mixing in two forms of gambling. You're sending very mixed messages, Game Freak. Just saying. But I digress. We got to see a passion project from Game Freak other than Pokemon, so that's nice. And yes, for people who tend to forget, Game Freak is technically a partner to Nintendo as opposed to actually being owned by them. Hence why you do see some weird decisions being made that Nintendo normally wouldn't make. I think that about covers it. Good Direct overall. Shirai.
Alright, Shirai.
Alright. Yeah, that was a good Direct. Structure was fine and whatever, but there was quite a lot here that was, for me in particular, I can now drag more victims into Suika. That's great.
I actually thought you were about to say drag more victims into Super Monkey Ball.
Well, I'll do that too. But no, this one has a versus mode now, which is great. And I'm about to lose a lot more hours into that game. Fantastic. Monkey Ball, great. I did say earlier that a lot of the newer games have not been good. They haven't. But if it's still developed by the same team that did the deluxe remake, then that should be fine, because that was good anyway. Aside from a couple of things, that game was mostly very good. So hopefully it's the same here. Penny's big breakaway. Surprised that they just dropped it today. Yeah, because I looked at the Twitter account for Evening Star, and they were still promoting articles like within the past couple of days that were like, oh, it'll be out within early 2024, like literally just a couple of days ago. And it's like, surprise, you can go get it now. It's like, oh, great.
Either that was a very well-planned surprise, or there may have been a miscommunication between them and the publisher on that one.
Nah, probably a surprise. I don't really agree with the visual criticism, because it's no more or less vibrant than Sonic Mania, just in 3D.
Yeah.
Like, the colors scream.
It's not from Tom Fry, the same art director.
The colors scream Studiopolis.
And I definitely recall them saying that Penny's, like how Sonic Mania was meant to be a throwback to the 90s form of 2D art style, Penny's Big Breakaway is meant to be a throwback to the 32-bit / 64-bit era of gaming.
It's pretty equally vibrant, so I can understand that it might be a little overwhelming in a 3D environment, but personally, it's not an issue for me. Fantasy Life I Summer in October, that's a new one for me. But no, it's fine. Like I said on SSMB though, that like I've got other stuff to play until then. I can wait. It's fine.
Sure.
Like it's not too far past the summer anyway. It's not like it's a big deal. But Dark Souls Hermit Crab looks cute.
Yes, it does.
I think that's everything from my end about all this.
All right,
yeah, there we go.
Dweebs.
Yeah, this direct was fine. The highlight for me was the Star Wars Battlefront remastered collection. Especially those new modes that they added. So it should give me more incentive to pick that one up, even though I already have those games on Xbox. Honestly, that's really the big standout highlight of this for me, mainly because of nostalgia for the older games. But yeah, like I said before, I get the argument people make for the new game made by the Solid Mania people. But I don't know, I don't really like really garish looking games. And as far as being throwbacks to the 32-bit era ones, the only games I remember really being that being as bright as that were any game made for any 3D game, well, except Cybermorph, made for the Atari Jaguar and Bubsy 3D. It's not really the best comparison.
Motor Tune Grand Prix.
I haven't really played that one, so I can't comment.
Like, that's a good one that does have all the bright, over neon look that you would see in some PlayStation games like that. And also, to be fair,
it just looks like it would hurt my eyes if I started playing it, so I'll skip out on that one.
Also,
but everything else looked okay. Even if at first I thought that underwater game was going to be an Echo the Dolphin sequel.
You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't put that past Sega, since they've finally been getting into the rhythm of reviving a lot of their IPs.
For as much as I would love a new Echo the Dolphin, I don't think it. I don't want to get my hopes up, so I'm just going to.
Not to mention, like, if I recall correctly, one of the big things about the Echo games is that humans are usually absent from them. So.
Well, yeah.
I mean, again, who knows? They could do anything.
Initial statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're done, Dweebs?
Yeah, I'm done.
Go on, Pedro.
No. It was a very enjoyable partner, because usually these are more like low key stuff, but they did some nice surprises, like the Epic Mickey remake. It's nice to see Fantasy Life get a release date. We still have a level 5 Vision coming this April, so I'm sure we'll get another showing of it, plus some updates on the other games that level 5 is got. So should be good. Super Monkey Ball looks good and I'm looking forward to that 2D game. Like, it should be fun. I'll take a look at the first one, see how that is, see how it goes, because I mean, I love Hollow Knight, so this should be also up my alley. And as for Crab Souls, yeah, sure, I guess in that case I'll definitely put that on the list, since apparently it's something that I've actually been asking for, so definitely looking forward to that then. Penny's Breakaway is my personal highlight, because I've been looking forward to Christian Whitehead's first game with his new studio ever since he announced that he was making a new 3D platformer. So I already got it on PS5 right now, so definitely playing it later. Should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Epic Mickey Rebrushed. I mean, it looks good. It looks like a perfectly good remake for what it is. I mean, if it's going to remain faithful to the original game, then it's probably not going to be anything that I'm probably going to get, because I didn't like the original Wii game much.
Was it the controls?
No, it's not the controls, Jova. Okay. Let me put it like I said. If you want the long story, watch Liam Triforce's video on it, because he does a fantastic job.
Also did a video on it. What happened?
well, but that's not a review. Like that's like just a history of the development. I'm talking about the actual game itself.
Oh, okay. Not
the development history. That's its own thing. But the point is, okay. Let me give you the short story, Jova. The game, just like God, what's his name? I'm blanking right now. The Junction Point guy, the Deus Ex guy too. Help me.
War Inspector.
That's it. War Inspector. Just like War Inspector's previous games, Jova, it was meant to be an immersive sim in the Disney universe. You know, with where choices alter the game around you, like in Deus Ex. You know, this is Warren Spector, the guy who pioneered that genre, basically. Problem is, Jova, no matter what you do, if you choose to be evil, if you choose to be good, the game barely, if any at all, changes.
That aspect.
So the entire premise of being an immersive sim where you can be an evil Mickey or a good Mickey basically gets shot in the ass. And but you're like, okay, so it must still be a good 3D platformer still, at least, right? Not really. The progression system is kind of fucked. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Again, watch Lion Triforce's video for proper details, because I don't have time to go through all of the details of that game right here.
To let you know,
but I want the universe to acknowledge me being a dick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in that case, Shioi, Epic Mickey is not for you, because the game does not protect, well, outside of the music being more creepy. There is a
creepy version of It's a Small War, believe it or not.
Yeah. You do also get like slightly different cutscenes around the end too, based off of your actions.
No, you don't, Joe.
No.
The slideshow at the end, Pedro, I remember also.
Oh, the slideshow. Okay, fine. The slideshow at the end, fine.
It's basically like, but I think Pedro still has a point. It's kind of like an even watered down version of what you get in the extended ending of Mass Effect 3.
Oh, it's like I said, like, it's minuscule at that. Like, again, I'm aware of the controversy that, yeah, for, you know, in spite of there being, like, a good or bad route, or basically based off of how much thinner you used, essentially, yeah, the changes are minuscule at that. And there was a lot of concept for getting an evil, or heck, even corrupted Mickey, but, well, stuff got scrapped in that regard.
Because that was the primary selling point, that Warren Spector, the creator of Deus Ex, was making an immersive sim Mickey platformer, and barely of any of Deus Ex DNA is even in this game. That was like it. But again, I don't want to rant about the game. Moving on. What else? Oh yeah, the new Vanillaware game looks good, so keep an eye on that. The submarine, the game at the end, the Luminous one. I'm guessing it looks fine, but it's not my cup of tea. The Rareware stuff. Again, I already have Rare Replay, which is the definitive way of playing Rareware games. So I don't. If you have a Switch and you don't have an Xbox console, go ahead, go for it. But if you have an Xbox console, I definitely recommend you get Rare Replay instead. That's the best way to play the old Rare games. What else? Did I miss anything?
A couple, but I'm guessing.
Pentiment. Yeah, Pentiment also is interesting. I'll get around to that at some point. Not now, because I have other stuff that I want to play. Fantasy Life 5, of course, looking excellent forward to that, because I love the first game, so definitely look forward to that. I think that's about it. I don't think I can think of anything else that I have something particularly interesting to say.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was definitely a really good partner showcase. For the standards of the partner showcase, this is definitely one that's above the rest. So, good.
All right, then I'll conclude. First of all, let me start with one thing that no one has mentioned, but congratulations on Nintendo for managing to have a major direct, not one of the indies, but one of the, major direct, without any single Square Enix game in it. That's actually breaking some grounds here.
There's one thing I forgot to mention in my final thoughts as well.
Go on.
Hollow Knight fans are our strongest soldiers. There, that's it.
Yeah, one for the poor souls that are still waiting for Silk Song. I'm there too.
That would be me.
You can make it, guys. You can make it.
Eventually.
Are you sure about that? My best John Cena impression. Are you sure about that?
Carry on, Tim.
Anyway, to go in order of the articles that have been posted about, because the order of direction was slightly different. Like I said about Ender Magnolia, the first title is something I did not have much experience on, but it's cool that it's still getting a sequel, in some capacity. And it looked nice enough. A Ranger, a role puzzling adventure. It has an interesting premise, but I probably wouldn't get it immediately. Maybe it's one of those kind of, minor games that I will probably get when it's on a sale, because this is also multi-plat, also for PS5 and PC. So maybe eventually I'll give it a look. Unicorn Overlord just looks as fine as, in the other, presentation when it showed up. Again, classic Vanillaware stuff. Monster Hunter Story is getting ported. It's a nice touch. Again, more 3DS games being freed from there are always a good thing, and it's also a nice showcase of Capcom trying to, making some of the, more inaccessible titles, as in, that you cannot play that much, on modern hardware. I just hope, it's gonna be the first of, more. To mention about Epic Mickey, because I don't want to repeat everything that Pedro said or add that much. Eventually, in case we ever commented on game, I'll mention, something about there. But the only thing I will add is that I'm just glad for the fact that this game was actually the reason why Oswald, became once again under the flagship of Disney, because until that point there was a legal fuckery going on, and the game was actually what managed to solidify the rights. I know that these days it's viewed more as a bad thing more than anything, but you have to understand that back then it was actually a really big thing. I only wish that Oswald had been used from that point on a bit more. Yes, occasionally cameoed a bit here and there, but not that much. Please add him in Kingdom Hearts already. But that's what we had to see. My favorite actual highlight is the porting or expanded version of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Again, Atlus is doing a good job with the releases and the remakes so far, so I hope they keep coming, because again, when it comes to traditional SMT, we're kind of a bit scattered in terms of releases. 4 and 4 Apocalypse are still stuck on the 3DS, same goes for Strange Journey, stuff like Devil Summoner, and so on and so forth. So here's hoping, I guess. But this one is actually, a show of good faith at the very least. The Battlefront Classic Collection, like I already said in the Direct, Aspire is doing a good job of importing Star Wars classic games. They're kind of running out if I'm, keeping track already. So at some point we should be done with that. Not much to mention about Sword Art Online Fracture Daydream, because the gameplay did not show that much, and while, as we mentioned, I'm not a particular fan of the IP. The game looked harmless at worst, so there. Gundam Breaker 4, as I mentioned in the Direct, I'm not the target audience. I don't particularly have experience with Gundam, but the people that I do know that are Gundam fans are particularly excited. They told me that the trailer piqued their interest, so good on them. Super Monkey Ball is not something that I play that much, but like I said, it's cool that Sega is keeping the franchise alive, at the very least. Something that apparently showcased in the Japanese Direct is that there is a peripheral about, a guitar learning game called Guitar Live Lesson 1. Kind of wish it was also for the West. World of Goo 2, already mentioned what I had to at the Game Awards. It's cool that this actually, is continuing. One of the pioneers of the indie genre, actually. So that's actually kind of nice. Fantasy Life I, nothing more that I can add compared to what, previous presentation did. It's basically, there. And like Pedro said, we'll have to see more at the Level 5 showcase. Craft's Treasure, I already mentioned that I already knew about the game, so nothing to add on there. Pepper Grinder looks fine. Again, inspired by stuff like Drill Dozer or the Drill Wisp, stuff from Sonic Colors. Very big breakaway. Again, it's interesting how it's compared to the, PS1 and Nintendo 64 era, because it does remind me more of Dreamcast titles. Again, like, or something akin to that era, like Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, for example. The colors do remind me more of A Hat in Time more than anything, so it's nothing particularly too much of a problem to me. But again, the game is literally out now, so I guess I'll check out more on it later on my own. Nothing to say on Pocket Card Jockey. Other than I'm baffled that this got localized in the slightest. I don't know how much of an interest in the West is there for this, but sure, if it doesn't cost too much to do, I guess it's harmless too. Contra Operation Garuga, we already saw enough, so I don't have a problem with that. The Snuff King game, I hear that it's supposed to be a licensed game of a franchise, but I know relatively little to nothing about it, so I cannot really add anything. The rare stuff added for the online program, cool stuff. But again, it still also reflects the fact that Nintendo keeps adding stuff on the online service, little by little. I hope that the Switch 2 keeps this stuff instead of resetting the board once again, because otherwise we'll have to go through this shit one more time with having titles being released bit by bit, and I hope they don't do that. The Xbox supported games, like Pentiment or Grounded, as long as they run fine, I don't have a problem with that. This should be a good experience, particularly Grounded. So we'll have to see. Finally, Endless Ocean. I haven't tried the other ones because there are two, if I recall correctly. But again, I know that this game has an audience, so good on them for actually having a continuation. I agree partially that maybe it wasn't lasting material, but I get the idea of being the only first-party title. They probably did not know how to stuck it there to give more of effect, so we just put it at the end. But alas. So again, overall, it was fine. Not my most memorable, Nintendo Direct, but again, just fine. So see you for when the next one shows up.
See you then.
Yeah.